Oh, God.
Go ahead. Good afternoon. I'd like to call this regular town council meeting to order. Today's date is Monday, November 24th. It's 5:30 PM in council chambers. Madam Clerk, can I get a roll call, please?
You may. Chair Bragdon,
Present.
Counselor Danforth. Here. Counselor Gould,
Here.
Counselor Mackin,
Here.
Counselor McGowan,
Here.
Counselor Pelletier,
Here.
and Counselor Runyon.
Here.
I ask everyone to stand and remove your hats for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, there is a sign-up sheet in the back for those that intend to stay for the public hearings. If you're not, you do not have to sign in, but if you are, please fill out that form in the back, please. Seeking approval of the minutes for September 25th, 2025 and October 9th, 2025.
Don't move.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Pelletier, seconded by Counselor McGowan. Any counselor comments? Seeing none, any public comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? 7-0. All right, moving into special presentations. Before we begin, I just want to make it clear that special presentations should be limited to 15 to 20 minutes to do your best, that is. I know that some of those run over. At the 12-minute mark, I'll just give a nod when we get close to that mark that you're approaching on those 15 minutes. Starting with resolve number 8, 2025 for proclamation for the Stearns football team. I will take the honor in reading that one. Resolve number 8-2025, a resolution recognizing the Stearns Skank 8-man football team for the 2025 state championship. Whereas the Stearns Skank High School football team, joined by student athletes from Skank High School, completed an exceptional 2025 season with a 9-2 record demonstrating resilience, determination, and teamwork throughout the year. And whereas the team achieved a historic victory by securing the 2025 Class D state championship, marking the first state football title since 1998 and bringing great pride to the town of Millinocket. And whereas head coach Herring, in his 9th year leading the program, has shown outstanding dedication, leadership, and commitment to the development of his athletes, both on and off the field. And whereas assistant coaches Nick Cullen, Dave Michaud, Arthur Greenlaw, Josh Studer, and Greg Martyr have each contributed invaluable knowledge, passion, and support to the team, helping shape a championship culture. And whereas the senior players Lucas Pelkey, Ben Waite, Owen Wilson, and Trevor Van Dyne have provided leadership, sportsmanship, and exemplary effort, serving as role models for their teammates and representing their school and community with distinction. And whereas the success of Stearns Skank football team has strengthened community spirit, united residents in celebration, and reflected the pride and tradition of athletes in the Katahdin region. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Millinocket Town Council and Council assembled on November 24th, 2025, does hereby recognize, honor, and congratulate the 2025 Stearns Skank 8-man football state championships for their extraordinary accomplishments and extends appreciation to the players, coaches, families, and supporters who contributed to this historic victory.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Bragdon, seconded by Counselor McGowan. Counselor comments?
I will.
Counselor McGowan?
Well, I know them all very well, and I was there in 2010 when Coach Herring was playing for the state championship. What an amazing season that was, and still have the memories from it. So I know this victory is extra special for him. I just want to thank you for your leadership and your dedication to this program. You've done an amazing job. And to all you boys who work hard every day, awesome. You have made us proud. Just thank you for the excitement you brought to the community.
Any other counselor comments? Seeing none, I'll go next. So I was sitting in a Walmart parking lot watching the game, and my phone died, so I had to call a friend who was watching it on his TV, and we were yelling at each other the entire time to figure out what's going on because there's a delay in it. And I could tell you that I probably made some people very upset in the Walmart parking lot when I jumped out of my car screaming. So I was so excited for you guys to win. So congratulations and great work, Coach, and the assistant coaches. You guys have done a phenomenal job. Any other counselors before I go down to the public? Counselor Gould?
I just wanted to say thank you to Coach Cody. I've watched him with my son in Little League, and it's just every child is going to feel such a great opportunity to have you for a coach. You're so even keeled, and proud to have you.
Any other counselors? Seeing none, I'll go down to the public for public comment. Seeing none, Coach Herring, do you have anything you want to say or?
These things don't happen without thank you guys down.
All right, moving to the vote. All those in favor? 7-0. Congratulations. If the coaches and the seniors would come up for a photo, or all the players that we have.
You can come get in the picture too.
Heck yeah. Here's your guys' proclamation.
All right.
So much. Thank you. Yes, I saw.
That will look great.
That's-
time with
yeah,
the
stay away. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mom's gonna be so proud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Keep that.
Oh.
All right, moving on, we will go to special presentation B, RHR Smith for the audit review.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Heather Hunter. I'm the audit director for RHR Smith, and I'm here tonight to present the June 2024 audit report. And actually, I just realized that's the wrong. Yep. So we are all set. I just want to make sure the presentation will be able to share. So bear with me just a second. Are you able to see the presentation?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. It's always a wonderful thing when technology works on a Monday. So again, tonight, I'm here to present your June 2024 audit opinion. This is kind of a run through of what I'll be covering. Feel free to address any questions that you may have, either through or at the end of the presentation. I'm completely flexible either way. So the first part of the presentation talks about what your responsibilities are in the audit. Everybody thinks the audit is just the auditor's responsibility, but it's really a partnership between the audit firm and the client. And your responsibilities are centering on establishing that internal control environment. You're maintaining it. You're providing a segregation of duties. You understand what that control environment is and how to use your software as it relates to that control environment, and to use the software to improve efficiencies and so forth. It's your responsibility to comply with laws, regulations, and accounting standards, as well as any grant compliance if there is a grant or federal compliance regulations that need to be taken into consideration. And it's up to you to use appropriate accounting policies to communicate any estimates with us. And typically those estimates may relate to things like uncollectible receivables or depreciation, useful life for your fixed assets and so forth. And then provide any supplementary information that we need for the audit, as well as those year-end reports, the reconciliations, and all the supporting documents. Our responsibility is pretty much governed by the AICPA, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. Our understanding, it has to be of your internal control environment. We do not express an opinion on the environment, but we need to understand it as it relates to whether there's going to be any material misstatements and whether we can move forward with the audit to render an opinion at the end of the year. We will propose adjustments of material misstatements. We will make recommendations that we see that may help improve your business processes and best practices for your organizations. We make sure that we are adhering to our accounting and standards, GAAP, or the generally accepted accounting standards board, the governmental accounting standards board as well. And then we look at issuing what's known as client communication in our SAS 114 letter that talks about any potential disagreements with management. I'm happy to say there were none. And we prepare your financial reports and any required supplementary information, as well as the footnotes, and if required, the federal compliance report. Our role in your audit is to give you this portion and prepare your financials for you. So this portion is the audit opinion. It's what, you are seeking our services for, is to render an opinion about whether your financial statements are fairly stated in all material respects. So you will see the paragraph that's highlighted off to the right there is the highest opinion you can get in the auditing world. It is known as a clean or an unqualified audit opinion. So congratulations to you. And I will talk a little bit more about what is enclosed in your financial documents. So the first piece that I'm going to share with you is the balance sheet for the general fund. You will see this is a 3-year comparison. And if you're following along in your financial report, under the commentary section, I've indicated kind of which statement or what pages in the report that I'm taking this information from, if that's a benefit for you to follow along. So cash is one of those key figures that everybody tends to look at. Cash is fairly stable, in all categories. You will see not a lot of fluctuation between the 3 years. The current ratio, that's a financial ratio that tends to be more prevalent in private sector, but it is certainly something that we can take into consideration in the public sector as well, where you're seeing how many of your assets are available to cover liabilities. Typically, the industry norm is a 2. Your current ratio at the end of the fiscal year was a 4.25, so very strong in their ability to pay your liabilities when they become due. I also will touch throughout this presentation on the education fund, since it's such an important piece of your whole financial picture. The education fund ended the year with $1.57 million in assets. It was primarily made up of an inter-fund receivable. Total liabilities were a little over $1 million, and they had an ending fund balance of $491,477. Then looking at your fund balance as it compares to its various slices of the pie, or what it's made up of. And one thing I will note right off the bat is there were 2 prior year corrections to the financial statements. And when I talk about prior year corrections, that impacts your beginning fund balance because of the ending fund balance of FY23 will carry forward to the beginning balance of FY24. So for general fund, there was a $259,000 correction for ARPA funds that were recorded in the prior year as revenue, and they needed to be recorded as deferred revenue, that it had not been earned by the end of the fiscal year. So that did reduce the FY23's fund balance from $6.2 million to the, just shy of $6 million after that correction was implemented. I will talk about the education fund adjustment on the next slide. But overall, your unassigned fund balance was $4,755,670, and it represents just shy of 75% of your total fund balance. That's a very strong fund balance, and total fund balance, just as a reminder, is a little over a little under $6.4 million. The education fund balance had a deficit unassigned fund balance, so just that sliver as it relates to unassigned of $24,490, and the lion's share of that is related to that prior year adjustment of $113,000. That was related to reclassification of grant funds to deferred revenue, similarly to what we had to do with the general fund. Its overall fund balance did end up in a positive, and the committed fund balance totaled $516,000. If people are interested in the breakdown of what makes up these individual slices of the pie, the details can be found in your footnotes for footnotes 11 through 14, and the page numbers are provided. Oops. So this is a 3-year fund balance trend. Again, it's just a different way of showing, graphically showing the presentation of your fund balance, because that plays such an integral role in municipal government. You will see the non-spendable and the restricted pretty much are relatively level. The assign has been somewhat mildly volatile, but clearly your unassigned fund balance has the upward trajectory that you're seeing here on the graph. And again, unassigned fund balance is 44% of your annual expenditures. That's a litmus test that, rating agencies, bankers, other financial statement users look to see how that unassigned fund balance relates to annual expenditures. In this particular case, you're at 44% of your annual expenditures and transfers out. That's a very strong amount. It allows you to afford 5.3 months of coverage in a fiscal year. So again, very, very strong. This is your budget to actual for general fund. Again, for the revenue side of the house, you had a plan use of $1.6 million in fund balance as a result of surplus collections on the revenue sides and savings on the expenditure side. That amount was not needed for this particular fiscal year. Your surplus collections totaled $455,118, and it exceeded your projections by about 4.2%. Your positive variances are state revenue sharing, followed by your intergovernmental revenues. Both of those amounts offset the shortfall in your anticipated miscellaneous grants, and that was about $240,000. On the educational fund, they had a plan use of $345,100. Actual revenue collections exceeded projections by about $140,000, or 1.7%. And you'll get the details from these schedules on schedules 1 and 1A on pages 82 and 83, as well as Schedule A on page 96. And again, you will see your 3-year trend. It is typical with most municipal governments that real estate property tax is the largest revenue source. In your case, it represents 58% of your total revenues and transfers in. And again, that amount, for reference, is about $11.2 million. Taxes rose by $309,298, or 5%. Your intergovernmental revenues, that's primarily your state revenue sharing, made up another just shy of 31% of total revenues and climbed about 6.2%. Educational revenues totaled $4,768,078 and had a tax subsidy transfer from general fund of $3.2 million. On the expenditure side of the house, you had unexpended appropriations of about $1.6 million, or 12%, 12.6% of the overall appropriations. Between the revenue surplus and the expenditure surplus, you had an overall budgetary surplus of just over $2 million. So as a reminder, the NEDA fund balance was not needed, at least for the general fund side. The educational fund posted a slight surplus of $5,604. The overall budget surplus for the educational fund totaled $146,377, and it reduced the planned fund balance usage by about 28.4%. And the expenditure detail budgets can be found on Schedule B, pages 97 through 99. And again, your 3-year trend average that you can see through here, typically, again, as with most municipalities, public safety, public works tend to go hand in hand, right behind education subsidy for that. So they make up a large portion of the overall operating budget. Current year surplus, again, for general fund was $403,533. The education fund expenditures totaled just under $7.9 million, and it drew down $369,590 of fund balance. But as a reminder, this amount was less than the plan usage when you started the budget process. Moving on to your utility fund or your wastewater treatment plant, this is your balance sheet for the wastewater or the utility budget. And again, you see there's not a lot of fluctuation, and cash, total assets declined a little bit. Liabilities also declined as well, but your net position stayed relatively static through the 3-year comparatives. You have again, as we did the current asset test on the general fund, we also did the same test for your enterprise fund, and your current ratio for the enterprise fund is 16.7. So again, a very strong current ratio, financial ratio for this particular activity. One thing that's not segregated that I will highlight is your net capital assets. Those are your infrastructure pieces, your trucks, meters, all of that good stuff related to the enterprise fund. That totaled $7,538,673, and that represents, as with most utility funds, just shy of 69% of your total assets. So it's a heavy investment that we like to highlight as well. Net position did fall slightly by about $106,000, or 1.3%. Clearly, unlike general fund that has a variety of revenue sources, the enterprise fund is essentially funded based upon user fees. You will see user fees decline by $227,967 or 22.4%. And you see the fluctuation in the various operating expenditures. The total operating expenditures amounted to $907,436, and it decreased by $18,000 or 2% from FY23. One thing you will notice, the depreciation expense, the second category from the right that's not labeled, is your depreciation, your non-cash expense that is included for the business type funds. Unfortunately, it got truncated with all the squeezing of the files there. There was one management letter comment, and all things considered, this is a relatively minor comment in the whole scheme of things. It does talk about that some of the invoices were paid a little bit behind what the vendors had required. So we just recommend reviewing your procedures to make sure your invoices are paid on a timely basis. And that will help make sure not only are things recorded in the proper period, but make sure that, you know, you're not paying unnecessarily late fees or anything like that. And that pretty much concludes my presentation. I would be happy to address any questions anybody has, and I can even stop sharing if that helps.
That'd be great. Thank you. First off, I want to say thank you for the very detailed report. I know this takes a lot of time and effort, and I appreciate the work that you put into this to present to us today. I will open it up to the counselors to start with, if there's any counselor comments or questions. Counselor Danforth?
Yeah, thank you. So Heather, thank you as well for your presentation. Really liked hearing the words that it was a clean audit opinion, that we have a very healthy and strong unassigned fund balance. We need to pay attention to that. We need to use it wisely going forward and make sure we test that for our community. But very exciting and positive report out. Thank you so much.
Counselor Pelletier?
Yeah, thank you, Heather. Last year, I believe we had recommendation in the presentation that the unassigned fund balance be lowered, I guess, by designating for capital projects reserves. Is that still where the fund is growing? Is that still a recommendation?
Typically, what we'd like to recommend is a municipality draw up a formal fund balance policy. That way you have something kind of in writing that hopefully not only weathers financial fluctuations, but also kind of weathers, you know, turnover in staff, turnover in elected officials. It gives you some normalcy to what is available for predictability. Once you do something like that, it becomes very evident of what your pecking order should be if your fund balance exceeds, you know, like whatever you put your ceiling to be, whether it's 15 or 20%, once you puncture that upper ceiling, then it prescribes kind of what you want to do based upon your budget for the next year, and whether you, to your point, transfer it to capital assets, use to pay down future property tax rates, you know, put it into a contingency. So that's where I would recommend, is not necessarily an injection in one specific area, but to look at adopting a policy that everybody feels comfortable with, and it will prescribe how you use this information going forward as part of the budget process and capital deliberations in the future.
Thank you.
Any other counselor comments, questions? I'll open up to the manager if you have anything before I go to the public.
I would just say that, of course, I'm incredibly proud of the state of our audit. You know, we have an incredible treasurer. We've heard a lot in that presentation about the uh, the positive path from past years with the school and how well they've done in their finances and bringing those back up to par and in great standards. We've got a fantastic team, and you know, uh, one one bit to keep in mind is that we are right now reviewing the FY24 audit and operating in FY26. So some of those numbers will be adjusted by the next time you hear them, and many of you follow along through the budget process and how we account for the unassigned funds. But yeah, I'm very pleased with this outcome, and I think I'm even more excited for the next one because it'll be the first that is solely just Beverly and I think solely just Dr. Lane and Rhonda. So, you know, it'll get away from, you know, the transitional things. Heather mentioned that a little bit in her review, is that some of these things transition not only elected officials, but administrators as well. So we'll be able to see in the next round what that looks like with just our partnerships and administrative leaders at the helm. So thank you.
Thank you. Any public comment? Seeing none. Again, thank you for your presentation. Again, very detailed. And I look forward to seeing next year, as Mr. Manager pointed out.
Thank you as well, and thank the team. And I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Moving on, the next special presentation is Dr. Lane for the Superintendent of Schools quarterly update.
To take the minutes that you said you're gonna nod at 12 minutes. But at this point, I think we all know that I can talk for a long time. So last time, I think I did well, but I shortened things up. So I trust in myself that I did. I really shortened things up. I look at if you're not.
I'm sure it's going to be great.
I really, that is kind of unjust, but I do hear you, and there is a lot of business that goes on. And welcome to the new members, and all of the that conversation is really, I am quite a narrative person about the personalities of our school and what we're doing and why we do it. Because we sit with you folks to ask for money, right? We're with you folks to ask you to support the things we're doing. So I really passionately feel like I have to tell you what you're paying for. But now we have done this for a little while, so I'm thinking I'm going to do less of that. But I will open it up to my office is open, my email, my phone. Stop in, ask questions, because I can talk like this with education all day long. I'd love to bring you up to where we are.
I highly recommend that when you two get a minute to stop over at the school and have a meeting with her. It is very, I've met with Dr. Lane multiple times, and it's every single time has been very informative.
That's fun. So today I really did think that I would just share a couple of things about Granite Street, Stearns, and then go into a little bit of like where we're going. The Granite Street is in their second year of a new math program. It's going well, and there's some growth in the district and in the state assessment. They are in the first year of the literacy program, and that is going well as well. Going well as well. We have 2 literacy grants from the main DOE over the last 2 years to be able to purchase new materials and interventions to support our ongoing efforts to increase our literacy. We've also implemented a PIS program, which is the Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports, and this includes monthly assemblies So if you want to just have fun, go learn. I'll tell you when the Granite Street assemblies are, and one is tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. They are a blast. What a hoot. And one of the most, I don't know, almost chilling experiences in it is the entire Granite Street is on the floor in the gymnasium, and we all stand and do the flag salute. That doesn't sound like that should be chilling, but it is. It is just magnificently done, led by our little. And then from there, it's all just fun. So come join us. At Stearns, you heard some of their excitement today with the football team, but our hockey team has done very well. Mamma Mia was just presented with great turnouts in the audience for 3 days. We have some really talented kids, and that doesn't say anything to do about their academics. We have some new staff on board. We're looking at our curriculum. We're looking at assessments, going through to make sure that we're actually offering students what they need for whatever their next choice is. We talk about it often that our goal is to have them successfully march across the proverbial stage to whatever life choices they want to make. They had a great Veterans Day program. We made it through our statewide assessments. They're doing assemblies for showing up to school for attendance. That's a issue all across our state and our nation, that attendance has become a really tough thing. Yes, it's a post-COVID thing, but we're not blaming COVID. There's been a lot of time since then. We're making our own choices. We're making our own hooks, as you might say, to get kiddos into school. One of the things that we've talked about is every adult in our school, be the adult kids want to come to. The adult kids want to come to and say what they did last night. The adult that kids want to come to and say, so what are you doing over Thanksgiving? Or did you happen to see my ball game? Or did you come to the performance? So we're talking a lot about the ways that we get our middle school and high school kids to want to come to school and interact with us. On a district level, we've applied for an RRF grant for up to $2 million for heating and ventilation upgrades at the Granite Street School. That grant has all been submitted, and if we're awarded it, we'll know in January, so I'll keep you updated on that. We're also in the second year of participation in the Revision Energy Grant with Hampton Solar, and right now we're experiencing 15% savings for the second year in a row. We made some upgrades I didn't have anything to do with it. Louis and his team had everything to do with it. And they did a lot of upgrades to the Stearns main boiler. We have hard water, so that's hard on pipes over time. And so they're having to navigate what portions of the boiler to repair and what things are most important. So they're making those decisions. We also have recycled literally hundreds of old devices. Computer technology started coming in somewhere around the late 80s, and some of our devices were those great big off-white Apple devices. So our new IT guy has spent a lot of time trying to help us muck out some of that. It has given us a lot more space to put new stuff, but we'll deal with that later. So Rhonda Casey is with me today. She's our business manager by 2.5 years. She started in May 2.5 years ago, and she's got a few items for you. I know what I said.
So can you?
Yes. So when I started on, we are dealing with grant for time. So our grants update now for a monthly cycle. I'm loving them that I deal with every month. Those are actually great. My plan goes up, back. Usually about every 6 get back. So she's kind of making light of that, but when she started a couple of years ago, the town of Millinocket actually made over money that's in serves. Rhonda has actually brought that all into the money. So that's really cool. We have some shared services. We have superintendent, education director, and we have a step program. Share those services off that day. So my push. We have some average monthly expenditures. A quick little thing of that, we spend about $500 a month in Bedford. Revenue collected so far to date, 838,000. The rest of revenue collected is for grant extension, $300,000. Wait, program? So, there's the international program, you do have a couple of international. The program has changed, very substantially. But we do have a, part-time director who's working on, increasing some of those opportunities. The way of the world has changed. So, it's not a lot to do with some of that. But it has provided an opportunity through another grant, the ELO grant, the Extended Learning Opportunities Grant, where we now have 2 part-time people in that position, and we have we've been able to support 20 students, 20 students that are in and about in our community doing various types of job experiences, learning about new opportunities. Right now we have 28 community partners. So the ELO program's goal is to help students recognize both things that they're interested in, but also maybe the things they're not. Like maybe I thought I wanted to be an X-ray technician. I went and saw a couple of opportunities, maybe at a hospital, maybe at a clinic, and realized I did not like. So this grant is there in order to provide both that I do like and I don't think I want to do opportunities. It also is allowing through the company of Manpower that we actually are able to pay students for some of their experience learning, which is really a good thing. We've been able to provide things like work boots or scrubs for kids who are doing some of these experiences as well. Close to 12.
No, you're fine.
I hope.
You're gonna be.
Okay. So in the meal program, we have a new advisory group, not we again, it's Mia and her team has put together an advisory group. They're doing hydroponics. So if you come over to our cafeteria downstairs, you'll see that they're actually growing 3 different types of lettuce and some herbs. So the devices are like this big, kind of looks like a column, like a circle, right? But then we had vegetables growing out of it, all based on hydroponics. So it's really cool if you have a minute, come over and take a look at it. And that also was part of grant in order to show kids sustainable growth. And if you are interested at all, look at it. In like New York City, they have stories, multiple stories, like 10 and 15-story buildings, all hydroponics, growing our next group of vegetation to serve. It was really cool. We have a middle school advisory group. They did a survey of some of their peers. They do want more than chicken nuggets and pizza. We're trying to get pizza. So that's something that she has got going with her group. The HMI grant, I'm not sure Ron mentioned that specifically, but if you remember, that was for $138,000. Provided a lot of learning opportunities for our staff. It was one of the groups that we got invited groups from away to come to our school. We had a presenter from Wisconsin, and I can't remember the other one, but they were like leaders in the field of education, nutrition education. They came to our town, and we invited other school districts to join us. So that has been a very impressive grant, and we spent every dime. We continue to have an increase in our breakfast and lunch programs, and partially because of these initiatives that me and her group are putting. We are working on what our budget's going to look like for the next school year. I can't say we're cautiously optimistic that health insurance is going to look good, because we're really not. We are concerned about what that number is going to be. Last year, if you remember right, we put in a number around 18%. It ended up being around 14%. But they're saying this year that we need to expect close to 30%.
Wow.
We'll wait and see how they come out with those numbers. They're a little, get their calculations together. That has a huge impact on what we're going to be able to do. put together what we're gonna be able to present. We're also looking at things like stipends. Right now, we spend about $250,000 on stipends. And remember that my first comments were about how awesome all of our kids are and all the programs that supports all of them. So, somewhere there's gonna have to be this balance, all that awesomeness, cost of health insurance, the cost of electricity. Just remember, I also said we have a 15% over the last 2 years of savings. So hopefully our ups and downs are all going to balance out. Ron had mentioned, and it is what I will end on, the fact that we're doing some sharing. So last October, so all over a year ago, we put together a group to talk about shared services. And our school board actually just participated in the 52nd annual school board training. They are trying to be proactive. They are being involved, and they're professional in their part. And I say that because when we talk about what we're going to do with our system, when we looked at 3 systems in quick succession down an 8 or 12-mile strip, we're all experiencing some similar things. We're all going to get with health insurance. We're all going to look at what our new teacher contracts are and food service costs. So conversations well over a year ago all went to how can we make sure we have everything we need for kids. We are obligated to do the best we can for our students. Again, remember we talked about sending them across that proverbial stage, what choices they are going to have. So today I had the second conversation over the exact same topic with the Deputy Commissioner Dan Schuman and the Chief Financial Officer Paula Gravel. In the last year and a half, our options have not changed. We have to get our heads around what do we want. Our choices are things like looking at an RSU, regional school unit, an SAP, or a CSB. The one that they actually recommend is a educational service unit. At the beginning, like a couple of years ago, they called it a regional service unit. They were hoping that school districts get together and some regional things. We're already doing this. I'm shared with the district. We're sharing a special ed director. We're sharing some things now. And we've really got to look at what is our future really need to look at. How can we sustain the things we value for our students? So I will hopefully close by saying these conversations are happening. School boards having conversations. They're happening in our town, our neighboring town. How this is going to look over the next few months, I'll tell you. But we had sought a facilitator. Her name is Catherine Biddle. She does research from the University of Maine at Orono. They also have Care for Souls, who works with rural aspirations. Our 3 districts have met 3 times with these ladies who are facilitators. They're meeting, they've had meetings themselves, and they're getting back to us. It's supposed to be in November, and I know we're almost over, but it's supposed to be November. We have a meeting set up with them a week after Thanksgiving on Tuesday to see what their proposal is, what their feedback are, how we would organize collecting the information from stakeholders, and then what. So that is more impactful across all 3 communities. Takes out bias in all 3 communities. And here's the voices of the stakeholders, all 3 communities. We're thinking that the way we'll go will be the outside. So I would with that thought, know that it's being worked on. We know that we have 2 significant things to consider, but one is what we want to do for our kids and how we maintain the integrity of our community and how we balance the cost of all of that with our variety of people who are on fixed incomes. We know that a lot of our fixed income families, they love us. They love their kids coming to our schools. They love our communities, all 3 of our communities, but the dollars. With that, Thank you for your patience, even if I've come over, and look forward to doing this again.
I couldn't have said it better myself, that last part. I have three questions. One of them's or two of them are more general knowledge than anything. And then one is a comment, and it's the very first thing you said about the kids in the gymnasium for the Pledge of Allegiance. Given today's day and age, personally, I think that's absolutely fantastic. I don't see that enough. In the media, we're saying all the time about kids opting out of doing it or not wanting to do it at all. So hearing that really warmed my heart. I'm very impressed with that. So thank you. The second one being is more of knowledge that from one of the last presentations that you gave us, and it's on the international program. You had mentioned the last time that I remember talking to you that there was some tension with China that was going on, which caused some tension between the international program. So the program that we have right now, is it still students from China? Are they from Europe or?
Right. We joined the Jump the World program, so they're shorter stint time and they can come from wherever. Yeah, I was gonna say, where are we from right now?
Guatemala.
Guatemala.
Yeah.
It's a program from,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit different. We still have contracts with our sister school in China. We still have a couple of well, we have 3 contracts. But tensions are a little tough right now. Our communications that Chelsea has and I have with their offices are fine, but I think it's a little uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
I will also say, we've got a hard time finding host kids. People who don't have kids. We actually have turned down a couple of students who would come here for the whole year. We can't find a suitable host family who wants to take that on as a.
I think Peter's volunteering.
Yeah.
oh, no, I'm an active volunteer. What I wanted to say was, Stephanie and I started last year with the Jump the World program. This is our second year doing it. We've had teenage students from Guatemala come and they just become part of our family. And prior to sitting down and talking to Chelsea at the school about the reality of housing an exchange student, it wasn't for me. I didn't think it was a good idea for our family because we're so busy. We're involved with so many things, and it has been an incredible experience 2 years in a row. We're halfway through one right now, and if you're on the fence about whether or not hosting an exchange student is right for your family, there's no better way to dip your toe in the water, figuratively speaking, than the Jump the World program, because they come in early October and they leave in early to mid December. They come here during their summer break from school, Guatemala, and it's been an incredibly rewarding experience. We learn about their culture, they learn about ours, they become part of our family. We still talk to our student and their family from last year. They love, being around the kids and we drag them to the musicals because I'm always there. They come to cheer practice with us and they have a great time experiencing Maine and seeing snow and being cold. I say that enjoying that loosely, but our experience last year, we were all in and we signed up to be a full year host, but like Dr. Lane said, there wasn't enough foreign students signing up for the program, so we were on the list, but we didn't have a student for the full year. We have the Jump the World program now, and I recommend it to anyone and everyone. It is super cool, and I was someone that was against it for a long time. Not for me, but we plan to do it every year for the foreseeable future.
That's awesome.
I think our students benefit as much from her as she does from being here with just all the conversations. But even what she used to do in her free time is entirely different from what our students. It really is a great streak.
I couldn't agree more. When I was in school at Stearns, I think we had 15 that were going, and I learned a lot from quite a few of them that I'm still friends with. I don't talk to as much, but their culture is absolutely wonderful to learn. You had mentioned hockey. Did you say there's a hockey program now? Oh, hockey. Okay.
Yeah.
Field hockey. Okay, never mind. And then the last one I have is the most important of them is I think Peter had a brief conversation with you about it, is the student rep for the council.
That was something I kind of surprised her with. And I'm not even sure if they were fully aware we passed that policy last year.
Oh, surprise.
I when we were working with when Andrew Hallett was with me actually through that ELO program, learning about municipal government and that again was an incredible experience. I think for both of us, we had a great time. You know, his involvement in all of these student activities made it harder for him to attend many of the council meetings throughout the year. But it is something that we would like to pursue again. And, you know, it was on my list, you know, back in August, and I didn't get to it till, you know, just a few weeks ago. Yes.
She does. No,
Yes, I
absolutely.
did have an email either Friday or earlier today. Yeah, yeah. And I'm on vacation, so I'll get to that as soon as I can. But we do have a student that's interested
That's
in
awesome.
doing that. I plan to meet with them soon.
Awesome.
I know. but
No, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
So that, the Eastern Rocket did get the COPS grant, and it was supposed to last for 3 years. None of that amount of money we're supposed to be able to put that towards the school resource officer. So Officer Frank was interviewed in the summertime, and it started when we started. I just want to say it's great. The relationship that Officer Frank is building with our students of every level, kindergarten, preschool, all the way to grade 12. His silliness, he goes to our assemblies and is a ninja turtle, but don't tell you. But he helps us out with the things that you would expect, like safety and health and wellness, things like that. He's good with that. He also tells jokes over the intercom system. He's connecting with kids so that when they're having a bad day, it's okay because he already knows them when they're having a good day. Like, I can't say enough, when you folks get to the point where you're talking about what the East Millinocket relationship is for finances for the police department. I don't go all into that. He is so valuable, beyond something that we really even expected it to be. He's a wonderful fit, and I really hope that if you need more information for making any financial decisions, ask me for data, because we've got it. We're collecting data on how many kids, what helping us do like intervention, and some of the things that we're hoping, even attendance. I mentioned attendance a while ago. Unfortunately, he's pretty comfortable going to the parents' doors and knocking on the door and saying, "Hey, where is Shelley in the room?" Sir. And then all of a sudden, Shelley comes to school the next day because she doesn't. She's going to do it again. So I just wanted to put that plug in that it's very valuable and have to take data. Big for financial.
It'd be worthwhile. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, that's very valuable information. Any other counselors, questions or comments? Counselor Devlin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the presentation. I got a couple comments and a question. And thank you for allowing her that extra time to talk about the school resource officer, because I remember bringing it up here, how important we thought it was. I'm glad that it's worked out that way. And I also liked hearing about the ELO grant. Didn't realize that was part of like how we had Andrew last year, but you said 20 students were involved in that. I think that's so important.
And 28, and that means opportunity places where our kids go. So restaurant owners, wherever, all of those.
That's awesome that you got that great amount. And also, I appreciated that you gave the update that you are trying the shared services and that you're going forward to get the outside research firm and facilitators to do this. I think that's that really objected. You. And the other good thing that I heard you talk about was the hydroponic. Who is the contact for that? To some of the other work I do with the hospital around food security, with our age-friendly committee, the community garden. I really want to grow this idea of growing.
Yeah.
Of growing in community gardens. And I recently heard about something like, I didn't realize you had a grant. Who's the contact person?
Mia.
Okay,
And
right in
it's
the
right, it's
cafeteria.
literally, it's literal in the cafeteria. Just
Okay.
to go over and check it, and see it grow from this
Yeah.
big to this big. So, yeah, go take a
So,
peek. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Any other councilor comments, questions? Councilor Pelletier?
Yeah, I spoke to Pete. Kids there that have driving around scooters. Being reckless. I don't know if the resource officer could have a part. I don't know, back through.
Right, we actually had, and I will say thankfully, where we. Things were already happening as far as some conversation, so we had, somebody from Bicycle Mate, like Bikes with Mate, something like that. Already planned to come to Brandon Street the next week. The principal asked me if it was appropriate to have them coming, the next week, because it felt odd, but it was already planned. But yes, we can up the ante, particularly once, the kids get back up there. There's a few more bikes now, but once the snow comes, that will kind of a little bit. But even last year, it's just take off across the.
It'll be the
Like-
snowmobiles. What,
Yeah, probably.
Straw
But
crap.
yes, I hear you. About that.
Appreciate it.
Any other councilors? Seeing none, down to the public, any questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you so much for both of you. I hope you both have a fantastic Thanksgiving. And I love the updates, and I will be in contact about possibly coming over to the school to see all the wonderful things. So thank you. On to our last presentation of tonight is Chief Cody for the EMO plan.
Yeah. All right.
Weaving them down.
Great. Good evening, everyone. I wanted to bring forward this evening our emergency operations plan. So it is under the main statute that we have this plan for our community. This plan last was updated in 2021, 2022. It is an annual requirement. Just with the change of leadership and whatnot with the fire department, it was something that wasn't able to be achieved. So recently I had the opportunity to go over this plan from the front page all the way to the back page. Made many revisions, many updates that needed to be made. I'll begin with doing a hazard assessment for the community to identify our hazards, any new hazards in the area. Completed that. I updated all the names and contacts, which some of them were updated, so that took a lot of time going in there for every radio station, every contact person on the plan, all the media outlets, all our emergency contacts for shelters, all the fuel vendors. So that takes a lot of time as well. Our emergency operations center and our shelter, we've made some changes to that in the last couple of years, especially with the marathon and also with the eclipse. So I wanted to make sure that this plan was updated with that. Updated the equipment list, because overall between the fire department and public works, some of that needed to be updated with what we currently have for equipment, as well as the tier 2 hazardous material reporting that needed to be updated in here as well, because some of the places are no longer there. Some of the places have updated their quantity of chemicals on site, so those plans needed to be updated as well. So this plan covers only the town of Millinocket, even though we provide contracts for the UT areas. We do not cover that plan. That plan is covered by the Penobscot Emergency Management. They're responsible for those areas. So we're only responsible for the town of Millinocket. I'm open for any questions you guys may have.
Counselor Danforth?
Thank you, Chief Cody. I have mine in front of me. And I actually went through it to see where it has town council responsibilities. And there's one page on page 31, the town council is the authority for establishing evacuation policy. Is there a policy that we adopt? When do we establish that policy? I just wanted, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So that policy, every scenario is gonna be a little bit different depending on what we're dealing with. Pretty much it's gonna be, they're depending on the scenario and how far of evacuation we need to take, what kind of evacuation. So we would, provide you that information during the time of the incident. Exactly what we need.
So it happens during the event itself. not
During the event
there's-
itself, this is
Yeah.
more of just a guide.
Yeah,
Because some incidents, we might only evacuate maybe 3 miles,
yeah.
we might evacuate 100.
I know, because I was thinking that it's like, how do you create a policy that covers A through Z of different situations, scenarios, whatever
Yeah.
that comes to be.
Yep.
And so there was one other place I wondered how we might be able to help. And I know, like you said, you updated a lot of numbers and names and that sort of thing, but there is the volunteer list, emergency management volunteer list. And you have some local community service groups like the churches and, the Elks Lodge, the Legion, that sort of thing. And so there's a blank sheet. Do you start with, or do you need help like populating this? So you have initial contact information. I'm just picturing myself showing up as a volunteer to do some mass feeding. Like, how do I know who to call? I'm just wondering, is there something ahead of
Yeah.
time that we can help?
So I have some of this that's outside this, that we would provide, that's built into some other binders with, feeding lists, local groups to reach out to, their point of contacts, and also partnering with the county EMA office. They would have all that information to provide to the volunteers who are working that area.
Yeah, I wasn't looking to make more
Yeah.
work for you. I was trying to see how I could help you, because I know in anything that I do, as far as it's hard to get volunteers,
It is.
right? And I'm sure in an emergency, in a crisis, are you gonna get people together and then phone calls? So make sure that the council help.
Any other council comments or questions?
I do have the official sign in sheet, if you guys are able to approve this plan, to adopt it.
We don't have it on the copy page.
It's on page 4.
Yeah, it's something that
Okay.
Carol's.
So this would be something, I'm assuming, that would have to be brought to order for you guys to approve and sign? This would.
No, it hasn't been in the past. It
No?
Yeah, I was the same. Me and Peter talked about this.
signed by the chair, the manager, and team.
So do you want to do it now or do you want to wait till after or?
However you like.
Uh,
Unless you'd like to, if you'd like to read the proclamation, you're more than welcome to.
do we have a copy of this not stamped draft?
Obviously, without the word, their draft on it.
There you go.
We can do it after. That will make things easier. Is there any public comments or questions before we move on? Seeing none, I'll stay after to sign it. We can
Okay.
talk more about it. Thank you.
I'll reach out to the manager. We also, need to make sure we keep up with our training for the NIMS requirement, the National Incident Management System, to make sure all elected officials have the updated elected official incident command training. Or something, maybe after the first of the year, we can get everybody into that who hasn't had it already.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you want?
I didn't know if you-
I have it. I just, it's in my box downstairs. Moving on, we have no old business. So moving into new business, town manager's report. Mr. Manager, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will keep my points brief. There is a lot of information per usual. Upwards of 10 pages of report here. As always, it's hosted on millinocket.org on the town manager's page. In the archive, I have on there, which dates back and includes all managers' reports I have submitted since January of 2022 when I started. So, I would like to call attention to the fact that, but one of the more impactful points of discussion during the FY26 budget workshops and adoption was adding a crew member to the Public Works Department. When we really wanted to, but we settled with one, and we were able to fill that and the vacant positions. We've really got a heck of a crew up there. Some really nice guys, some really good working guys have joined that crew in the recent months. But most importantly, for the first time in a long time, due to the addition of that person, we were able to complete the flushing of the entire town's sewer lines, which was the intention of adding to the crew. That is, a regulation put out by the EPA and the DEP. I think more importantly, the DEP at the state level. But it was something that had fallen to the wayside with the decrease in staffing and the budget cuts over the last 10, 15 years or so. And that has recently been completed. One side of the town to the other, completely flushed out and inspected for upcoming infrastructure management type projects. And we look forward to being able to do it again next year. So thank you so much for the support on adding to that crew, and I hope that we can continue growing it over the years because the workload's certainly not doing. Public Works has also been a big help in getting our Christmas decorations out. We started putting that stuff out last week. I say we loosely. Although I did offer to get up in the bucket truck, they try not to let me do those things. But a couple of those guys, Steve and Mike, they got out and really worked their butts off in the cold and kept coming in. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And we kind of worked back and forth and trying to step our game up a little bit. I have to be careful in the future when I make orders. My dyslexia got the best of me once again. I intended to order 42-inch wreaths and I ordered 24-inch wreaths. So they are a little smaller than I expected when we opened the box, but can't laugh at ourselves. What can we do, right? The cemetery's closed. The Public Works guys also were up there recently, doing the cleaning and the shutting down for the season. While they were doing that, they were able to level out some of the leaning gravestones. So it's nice that they're able to switch tasks and help some of the other members of the community make sure that their loved ones' resting place is being as good as they can. We go over to Community Initiatives Director. I can't speak highly enough about the work that we've been able to accomplish in the Brownfields program. Not only the Brownfields program, but just derelict properties in general. Many of these projects are years in the making, but we've been able to demolish and clear and clean up 4 different properties last 10, 11 months or so. Most of those were 2.5 years in the making. Have several more in process now that we see fruition. So, she's also spent a lot of time with the SOD program. It was so much more work than we expected it to be when we signed up for that funding through the state. But completed projects through that program already are Spoiled Hair Salon, Emery Lee and Sons with new sign. The Katahdin Chamber of Commerce got new paint, new front porch, ADA accessible ramp. York's LLC, which is a historic apartment building, used to be, most people refer to it as Dr. Shippey's old place. Lots of new windows and facelift in there, and the next two, there's still three more to be completed. One is a pretty major facelift on the Blue Ox Saloon. Then we have Millinocket Insurance and what is on this report as the McClesh building, which is this one down here on the corner that used to be Buddies Forever and Mountain Song, so many more before that. So we've been able to do a lot of good through that program for commercial property owners. Still unsure if that program will continue with a new iteration. We have to really focus on what the administrative work is in that program, and take what we've learned and what we've adapted to, and see if we can responsibly go for it again and be able to do it, or just do it smoother a second time through. So that's still up in the air, but we hope to be able to do that. She's also been, she took on the snowmobile grants this year. Worked on that for 4 different snowmobile clubs this year, as opposed to 2, which we've done in the past. Minor hiccups along the way, but those are completed and ready to go. We have contracts on the agenda tonight to finish that process. We have Festival of Lights Parade coming up. December 19th. Last year was a big hit, even though it was very sub-zero temperature. But we look forward to doing that. It was a really cool event, and more to come on that. But mark your calendars for December 19th. We're going to try to bring it up another notch this year. And on top of all this other stuff in the reports, Community Initiatives Director has been able to step in and cover general assistance payroll. She worked the election. It's been a really usable asset to our team over time. At the airport, Jeff and the airport were presented with a very beautiful plaque from Baxter State Park, honoring the participation in the 2025 search and rescue mission. So continuing to get more accolade. That is certainly notable to receive. We do have some vacancies on boards that we are seeking volunteers to fill. We have our Rec Advisory Committee. It's current format, even though we all know we're seeking to transition to a regional recreation advisory committee with all towns represented. But there is one partial term open on that committee. The Personnel Appeals Board has one partial term available right now. And Board of Appeals has one full 3-year term. So if there are any members of the public out there that want to try their hand and get involved with some civic duty. Those are just to start. Lots and lots going on in the fire and ambulance department. You heard a lot about what Chief Cody's been working on. You know, the training, the partnership with, you know, all three towns right now, and maintaining the staffing levels have been wonderful. They've had some very successful calls recently, and you know, I also want to point out that recently we were in a position in Millinocket, East Millinocket, and Medway, where we were all extremely short-staffed. We were actually down to three members of the crew here in Millinocket, very few in East Millinocket, and I'm not sure if that was before or after Medway got their license. It was before. So we had very few people around, and the three that we had here heard the news and got together, and they figured out who was going to cover what, and the three of them kept our station running smoothly and covered and picked up shifts and overtime, and they worked their tails off. And during part of that stretch, we didn't have an advanced provider in both of our towns. So that came to Chief Cody and Chief McAdam in East Millinocket, and they're, you know, pulling things together and having people on speed dial and ready to try to come cover when we did. Luckily, that was short-lived. Didn't get any hairy scenarios there, but you know, the sacrifices and, you know, commitment that all of our towns fire and EMS crew provide for us, you know, is not seen in public every day, but it is a pretty incredible thing. We have an attached monthly library report. Corporal Fitzgerald sent over a nice update from the East Millinocket Police Department. And the last thing I want to mention is, because we've been having so much fun with it, is tracking the code enforcement permit summary. You'll see from we are at a total in this fiscal year. The column still says calendar. I apologize for that, but we changed this to fiscal year. We're at 161 permits, 27 in the last month. So not only is Tom doing an incredible job as the code enforcement officer, but the way he approaches the educational side of it, the things we've done to implement efficiency and convenience, permitting, and the education that we've done to compel the public to participate in that. You know, the education around how far off our valuations were, how far off our property information and data was leading up to the need for a reval. Now we have all of these changes and updates documented. It's probably still a portion of what's happening. But if you look at prior to Tom being our code enforcement officer, those columns would be zero for many years, or pretty close to zero. So kudos on that. It also shows how well we when we charge fees for things, the goal is to offset the cost of operating the department. And knowing that we are doing so much better with the revenues, of which, you know, that would be zero in recent years. You know, we are now making, we're making some advancement on being able to offset the cost of operating that department. So we don't necessarily, we may not have to raise as much money through taxes to run that department in the future, provided things continue to go well. That's about where I'll stop. I'll take any questions or comments.
Open up to the council. Any questions or comments? Council Pelletier?
I was curious if there's any move on dealing with the issue of short-term rental registration.
Well, there's no official movement on, dealing with that per se. The original timeline during those special hearings was that, we would take till the end of this calendar year to operate under the policy, the ordinance that was passed, and then, report back to the council come January and have the council weigh in on what you want it to do. You want to reopen it and edit it and, improve it? Do we want to leave it the same? Do we want to add more parameters? That's a conversation that I think we'll be having in the coming months.
But the intent was that information registration drive some of those suggestions. How many registrations have you got?
Well, let me go back to that chart I was just talking about.
There's 14.
Thank you.
Total?
And
Yeah.
how many do you think we have?
We're probably hovering around 70 total.
70 and only 14 of them.
That's correct.
So we won't be able to make any really informed decisions on how to change the policy unless we have more of those on board.
Well, maybe one of the recommendations that you make is that somebody seeks out and enforces those things. We very open during that process, the administration and the council, that we not be, policing it and going out and knocking on people's doors and that sort of say, hey, we caught you.
Apparently that didn't
It's,
work.
well, I would recommend bringing that up to your colleagues when we get into those discussions in January.
Me and Peter did have a conversation about this, and that topic did come up. And, everything Peter just said is exactly what I said as well, is that we need to regroup in January and come up with a better plan. The trust system obviously didn't work. Any other counselors? Unless you had anything else, Councilor Pelletier?
No, that's what I want to grab that ball and run with it. That is kind of what I wanted to be up here. Is it just seemed the honor policy wasn't being very honorable.
Yeah.
So
Try to be the nice way, but that's not working.
Any other counselors? Councilor Danforth?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to recognize Public Works as well. They rigged the fleet of snow plow trucks just in time for our first. So thank you for that work. And I do also, we're giving accolades to our public safety department stuff. And I know you've been involved in planning for the marathon, and that's coming up, and that's worked out in a positive way. So from past experience, probably from your planning this year, you're ready for it too. The 10th year of the marathon. Okay. Hopefully we won't need the snow plows that day.
Just jinxed it.
Yeah, just like, the mountains be nice and pretty with white on top of it, but I did want to make or ask a question. The airport, it says the number of based aircraft has again increased this year. The new number is 24 with one more coming next week. When you say based aircraft, does that mean we have 24 in hangars there and another one coming? So 24 pilots utilizing our airport on a regular basis?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And we're looking to build more hangars. We have more hangar space.
We have handful of lots. Once we're taxiway project is completed, they'll be able to clear those lots, offer them for lease. So they will, what I understand, there's quite a bit of interest already in those hangar lots, and once they become available, we'll advertise them and execute those leases, and those leases will build hangars, which will then be added to our tax rolls. Very good stuff. So double income there.
And I also want to recognize as well that a CDBG, the facade program that you had mentioned, our downtown is looking spectacular, and all the other businesses that have made great use of those funds. So I'm hoping going forward, whatever the snags or all the things that, can be worked. Our business.
Speaking of the downtown, shortly after we were done the heinous and incredible paving project down here, the few of the public works guys spent some serious time going through a couple of the longer, most deteriorated sections of sidewalk and relayed a lot of bricks and leveled them all out. That's something that we intend to start back up on in the spring. So if you're walking around down here or using a chair for your mobility, you will notice that some larger sections of sidewalk have been smooth grayed out and repaired. So it's a lot better.
Did one right across the street not that long ago. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Any other counselor comments? Absolutely.
I have a question. For the transfer station, you noted that we're not hauling our material to Hampton instead of the landfill. Are we expecting a cost fluctuation from that? I don't know. Is it further? Is it closer? Does it change anything for us in that department?
Well, we're not quite there yet.
But will it?
I don't know. So when we're informed that we will be put into that next round of towns that are going to the new facility, I'm sure we will get a lot more information on that. Most of this is negotiated through the association that we are a member of. But I don't have the answer to that yet. I'm sure in the next month or two, we'll probably find out a lot more and be ready to talk about it in a lot more detail.
Any other councilors? Going down to the public, any public comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll move on. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, there is a sign-up sheet at the back for the first public hearing that we are about to go into. If you haven't signed on that document yet, please do. The time is 7:04. We are going to enter our first public hearing for the amendment to Chapter 75, General Assistance, Dependencies A through H. Councilor Danforth, can I have you read that, please?
Yeah, could I just ask for clarification? On our paper, it says ordinance number 3, and on the agenda, it says number 4.
Good call out.
Mm.
It is 4.
Just 4. Yes. Thank you.
Have you read ordinance number 4 instead?
Oh, you had said it right. It just.
Well, I'm pretty, no, it's 3. Go with,
Is it
yes.
Okay, going back. Have you read number 3?
That was my mistake.
Ordinance
Yes.
number 3-2025, providing for amendment to Chapter 75, General Assistance Code of the Town of Millinocket in compliance with Title 22 MRSA, subsection 43054. Be it ordered that by the Town Council, Millinocket and Council assembled that the Millinocket Code, Chapter 75, Appendices A through H, be amended per the attached appendix. It is further ordered that this ordinance take in effect October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026.
We don't
Yeah.
do, right.
Yes.
Council comments. Go ahead, Councilor.
Thank you, Chair Bragdon. Looking through this in great detail this weekend, I wasn't sure if this is maximums. I needed a little bit more detail into it because some of the amounts seem quite excessive. And I don't want to seem heartless, but at the same time,
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Manager, this is done by the state.
Yeah, these are guidelines and information that is put out by state every year. We do this ordinance update annually. And then from what is in here and what is included in our budget, we are reimbursed at 75%. So that helps those numbers. I bet.
yeah.
Any other council comments? Seeing none, down to the public. Seeing none, we will now come out of public hearing number 1, and the time is 7:06.
Thank you.
All right. Order number 242-2025, Counselor Mackin, can I have you read that, please?
Order number 242-2025, providing for execution of the town warrant for November 24th, 2025. It is ordered that the town warrant for November 24th, 2025, in the amount of $148,233.11 is hereby approved.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Mackin, seconded by Counselor McWallen. Heavy hitters.
The amount $32,536.25 Bangor Savings for land purchase loan. $2,197.50 Bernstein, Shore, Sawyer and Nelson. $2,710.73 Charter Communications for Internet. $42,074.57 Emery Lee for demo. $42,764.41 Maine Water Company for hydrants. $2,842.02 New England Salt Company for salt. And $12,959.03 to Versant Power.
Any other councilor comments? Seeing none, down to the public. Seeing none, all those in favor? 7-0. Counselor Mackin, can I have you read order number 243-2025?
Me again?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Order number 243-2025, providing for execution of the wastewater warrant for November 24th, 2025. It is ordered the wastewater warrant for November 24th, 2025 in the amount of $10,150.85 is hereby approved.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Mackin, seconded by Counselor Danforth. Heavy hitters.
At $6,917.05 to Versant Power.
Any other councilor comments? Seeing none, down to the public. Seeing none, all those in favor? 7-0. Counselor Pelletier, sorry. Going into our next public hearing, the time is 7:09. This public hearing is approval of a liquor license application for Highlands Tavern. Counselor Pelletier, can I have you read this one, please? Order number 244.
Order 244-2025, providing for public hearing, approval of an application for a malt continuous spirituous liquor license for Highlands Tavern. It is ordered that the Unlocket Town Council enters into a public hearing for the tax application for a malt continuous and spirituous liquor license hereby approved for Jennifer Goulet, business address 973 Central Street, Millinocket, doing business at Highland Tavern, 973 Central Street, Millinocket.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Pelletier, seconded by Counselor McGuallen. Counselor comments? Seeing none, down to the public. Seeing none, back to the council for a vote. All those in favor? 7-0. We are at a public hearing at 7:10. moving on to order number 245-2025. Counselor Gould, can I have you read that, please?
Order 245-2025, providing for approval for an application for an entertainment license for Highlands Tavern. It is ordered that the attached application for entertainment license is hereby approved for Jennifer Goulet, business address 973 Central Street, Millinocket, doing business as Highland Tavern, 973 Central Street, Millinocket.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Gould, seconded by Counselor McGowan. Going to counselor comments. Yes, I will. So if there is no other counselor comments, we were handed a state health inspection report, and there is one concerning item on here for me. And I had a chance to talk with the code enforcement officer after or before the meeting, sorry. And I would like to offer an amendment to order number 245 to read. It is ordered that the attached application for an entertainment license is hereby approved for Jenna Willett, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Business address 973 Central Street, Millinocket. Doing business as Highland Taverns, 973 Central Street, Millinocket, pending approval from the code enforcement officer's visit. Seeking a second on the amendment. Seconded by Councilor Danforth, motioned by Chair Bragdon. Sorry, making notes.
I'll just make a comment.
Absolutely. Councilor comment, Councilor
Yeah,
Danforth.
so we know that you have some things to work on here, and we don't want to delay the opening of your business any more than it needs to be, and there are things that you can be addressed. The code enforcement.
Any other councilor comments, questions, concerns? Moving down to the public, Mr. Malcolm, do you have anything you want to say, or?
Tom Malcolm, enforcement officer. No, I talked to Jen earlier about this, and she just didn't understand how the process works. And it's better off that they had the help come through, and then we'll go in and pick up anything that they missed out on. She needs a certificate of occupancy to open, like any business would. We've already talked. I'm gonna try to meet her date. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, down to the public on the amendment.
I just want to note that Jennifer has been fighting through this whole process as a new business owner and has done well, and she's reached out and been in contact. So thank you for doing that right from the beginning of putting in your ad to the paper.
Of course, you're.
All right, any other public comment? Seeing none, back to the council on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment? 7-0. All right, now on the order, as amended, any councilor comments? Seeing none. Oh, Councilor Gould.
Thank you, Chair Bragdon. I just wanted to say thank you for seeing a business open, and you're about to go through a whirlwind opening up prior to the marathon. So having been there 6 years ago in almost the same shoes, I wish you the best of luck.
Any other councilor comments on the order as amended? Seeing none, down to the public. Seeing none, all those in favor of order 245 as amended? 7-0. All right, moving on, Councilor McGowan, can I have you read order number 246, 2025?
Certainly. Order number 246-2025, providing for approval of an application for a victular license for Highlands Tavern. It is ordered that the attached application for a victular license is hereby approved for Jennifer Goulet, business address 973 Central Street, Millinocket, doing business as Highlands Tavern, 973 Central Street, Millinocket.
Motion made by Councilor McGowan, seconded by Councilor Danforth. Any questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, down to the public. Seeing none, all those in favor of the order? 7-0. Councilor Runyon, can I have you read order number 247, please?
Order 247-2025, providing for approval of appointment of the Board of Assessment Review for R. and Gotti. It is ordered that Richard Angotti is hereby appointed to the Town of Millinocket's Board of Assessment Review for a 3-year term to expire November 2028. Note, Richard's application was received on 11/19/2025 and is the only application on file. If approved, the board will have a full commitment.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Runyon, seconded by Counselor McGowan. Any comments from the council? Seeing none. Down to public. Seeing none. Back to the council. All those in favor of order number 247? 7-0. Counselor Danforth, can I have you read number 248-2025?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, order number 248-2025, providing for a reappointment of the code enforcement officer, licensed plumbing inspector. It is ordered that Thomas Malcolm is reappointed to serve as code enforcement officer, licensed plumbing inspector as of July 2025 for an indefinite period of time. Note, the town manager and town council through order number 170-2024 appointed Mr. Malcolm for a 1-year term.
Taking a second.
Second.
Unanimously.
Motion made by Counselor Danforth, seconded by Counselor Gould. Counselor comments? Yep. go
I
ahead.
will say, I have worked with Tom on the planning board and he is very effective at his job. So it makes my heart happy to see this come through.
Couldn't agree more. Any other counselor comments? Seeing none, down to the public. Mr. Manager.
I know how you like it when I clarify, so I'm going to clarify just real quick. We missed this on the way by in July. It's not something that is normally done in 1-year increments, but given Tom's recent retirement when he accepted to help us out in this capacity, we had put a limit on it, not knowing, where that was going to go, but he's been absolutely killing it in that department. And according to a recent update, he's actually having a pretty good time doing it. So we're happy to have him, continue on the team and continue to learn and continue to grow that department. And we'll have him for as long as we can.
Any other public comment? Seeing none. Back to the order for 248. All those in favor? 0. Congratulations, Mr. Malcolm.
Mr. Chair, since Tom is here, can we do his oath?
Absolutely.
They can do it.
Done, corner. And swear.
Want to just repeat after me? Or just repeat? Please raise your right hand. That I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and obey the laws of the United States and of the state of Maine, and in all respects observe the provisions of the charter and ordinances of the town of Millinocket, and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of code enforcement officer / licensed plumbing inspector.
So much for.
So I was just gonna say, so
Right, yeah, just can't change his mind.
In case I didn't wake up.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to order number 249. Counselor Pelletier, can I have you read that one, please?
249. Yeah. Yes. Order 249-2025, providing 4 street parking lot closures for Millinocket Marathon. It is ordered that approval is granted for the following street parking lot closures for the 2025 Millinocket Marathon and related activities. Penobscot Avenue from Central Street to Haddon Avenue, including intersection. 6 a.m., 6 p.m. Veterans Park Bandstand Parking Lot, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Friday, December 5th and Saturday, December 6th. Poplar Street from Penobscot Avenue to Haddon Avenue, 6 a.m. 6 p.m. Faulkner Street and all intersections until Golden Road, 6 AM until races are underway. Birch Street from Penobscot Avenue to Aroostook Avenue, 6 AM to 11 AM.
Second?
Motion made by Counselor Pelletier, seconded by Counselor Danforth. Counselor comments, question? Seeing none, down to the public. Seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor of order number 249? 7-0. Counselor Gould, can I have you read order number 250, please?
Order 250 2025, providing for approval of snowmobile trail maintenance grant application to the Maine Department of Conservation, Northern Timber Cruisers. It is ordered that approval is granted to submit the 2025-2026 Northern Timber Cruisers Snowmobile Club application for the Maine Department of Conservation Snowmobile Program Municipal Grant and Aid Agreement. The application requests a total of $43,196.30 in state funds that are to be supplemented by local private funds of $18,512.70 for a total project cost of $61,709. In addition to this, the town of Millinocket will pay Northern Timber Cruiser Snowmobile Club $2,400 to assist with grooming. It is further ordered that the town manager is authorized to sign and execute all documents necessary in relation to this grant.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Gould, seconded by Counselor McGowan. Counselor comments? Counselor Pelletier.
Yeah, I'd like to offer kudos to the manager and the staff that worked on getting these trail work done. When I first started, there was only 2 of them, and it was like $1,000 to the town share. Now we've got 4 of them. Really a feather in its cap as economic development director to boost tourism effort. Thank you.
Couldn't agree more. I use these trails every single year and I don't know what I'd do without them because it's a stress reliever. So could not agree more. Any other councilor comments? Councilor Danforth?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have a quick question. I know we budgeted a certain amount. Is this amount in here already in our budget? We'll come back. Be honest.
The amounts included in 3 of these 4 grants make up the amount approved in our budget, $25,000. So 2,400 here, 1,000 another, and the balance in.
Any other councilor comments? Seeing none, down to the public.
John Raymond, 236 Highland Avenue, President of Northern Timber Cruisers. I just want to thank Pete, the town manager, and the lady working on the grant, Amber Wheaton. I didn't come up with it. It was a little bit of a issue this year, but we worked through it. And also I want to thank the town for increasing that budget line, 15 to 25,000, because although we haven't gotten a lot of snow in the last couple of years, hopefully we will this year. Not looking good so far, but it's a big help to the club. With the cost of diesel, everything, parts, maintaining this equipment, it's definitely a help, and we appreciate it. So thank you.
No, thank you for all the work that you do. Any other public comments? Seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor of order 250? 7-0. Councilor McGowan, can I read order number 251?
Order number 251-2025, providing for approval of snowmobile trail maintenance grant application to the Maine Department of Conservation, Twin Pines Snowmobile Club. It is ordered that approval is granted to submit the 2025-2026 Twin Pines Snowmobile Club application for the Maine Department of Conservation Snowmobile Program Municipal Grant and Aid Agreement. The application requests a total of $118,148.10 in state funds that are to be supplemented by local private funds of $50,634.90 for a total project cost of $168,783. In addition to this, the town of Millinocket will pay Twin Pines Snowmobile Club $21,600 to assist with grooming. It is further ordered that the town manager is authorized to sign and execute any and all documents necessary in relation to this grant.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor McLaughlin, seconded by Counselor Runyon. Counselor comments, questions? Seeing none, down to the public. Seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor of order 251? 7-0. Counselor Runyon, can I have you read order number 252?
Indeed. Order number 252-2025, providing for approval of snowmobile trail maintenance grant application to the Maine Department of Conservation, Joe Mary Riders. It is ordered that approval is granted to submit the 2025-2026 Joe Mary Riders Snowmobile Club application for the Maine Department of Conservation Snowmobile Program Municipal Grant and Aid Agreement. The application requests a total of $98,560 in state funds that are to be supplemented by local private funds of $42,240 for a total project cost of $140,800. In addition to this, the town of Millinocket will pay Joe Mary Riders Snowmobile Club $1,000 to assist with grooming. It is further ordered that the town manager is authorized to sign and execute any and all documents necessary in relation to this grant.
Okay. Motion made by Counselor Runyon, seconded by Counselor Gould. Counselor comments? Seeing none, down to the public. Seeing none, all those in favor of order 252? 7-0. Counselor Danforth, can I have you read order number 253, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Order number 253-2025, providing for approval of snowmobile trail maintenance grant application to the Maine Department of Conservation, the Vimy Snowmobile Club. It is ordered that the approval is granted to submit the 2025-2026 Vimy Snowmobile Club application for the Maine Department of Conservation Snowmobile Program Municipal Grant and Aid Agreement. The application requests a total of $30,919 in state funds that are to be supplemented by local private funds of $13,251 for a total project cost of $44,170. It is further ordered that the town manager is authorized to sign and execute any and all documents necessary in relation to this grant.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Danforth, seconded by Counselor McLaughlin. Counselor comments? And none, down to the public. Seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor of order 253? 7-0. Counselor McLaughlin, can I read order number 254-2025?
Mr. Chair. Order number 254-2025, providing for approval of remote participation in public proceedings policy. Whereas the Millinocket Town Council seeks framework and structure related to remote participation for official meetings of the Town Council by councilors and members of the public, it is ordered that the attached remote participation for public proceedings policy is approved and adopted.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor McLaughlin, seconded by Counselor Danforth. Public comment. Counselor comments?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
Counselor.
I will just bring, or just make mention that this it was a draft policy that I came across after participating in MMA training and brought it forward at the end of my chairmanship. It should help out the new chair, just because there is a part in their roll call vote when somebody's on video. If we can see them on video and they're raising their hand, that will count. In the count, we don't have to go roll call. They're active. We can see them on the screen. It's a nice, solid picture. So that will help.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah, the new chair going forward. But we
Yeah.
have a policy in place, so.
I made a boo-boo last time and I commented on this. Now I can actually comment on it. So
Yes.
thank you so much for the work you did on this. I think it will genuinely make council meetings go by faster when we do have someone participating by Zoom. And where it is that time of year that people tend to get sick, well, I'm sure we'll see that more. Any other councilor comments? Council Pelletier.
Just like to note that we're to notify the chairman as soon as we can about being.
I mean, I think that was something we were doing before anyway, but yeah. So, or if you're gonna be missing the meeting, yeah, in courtesy. Any other councilor comments? Seeing none, down to the public.
If I just may ask, was that pretty much the only notable change? Because I quickly read through and it seemed like we were already having that policy in place.
First and last name must be displayed on screen. Members of the town council must be physically present, except when authorized.
The backup that I send with the agenda with those guidelines, this is just securing. And that was making the only change pretty much is.
So it was actually, I mean, some of the language was like brand new because it was a draft policy from MMA and the manager took a stab at it as well. So to be honest with you, I didn't look at.
I don't think
If you-
it's too much different.
Right.
I think it's just worded
In
different.
practice, yeah, I think in practice, we were doing all of these things.
It just confirmed the practice that we were already set in
Yeah.
place. So
Yep.
that was my point. All
Yeah.
right, thank you.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor of order 254-2025? 7-0. Councilor Runyon, can I have you read order number 255? That's one on the night.
Order 255-2025, providing for street and parking lot closures for Festival of Lights. It is ordered that approval is granted for the following street and parking lot closures for the 2025 Festival of Lights and related activities. Poplar Street from Penobscot Avenue to Katahdin Avenue, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Friday, December 19th. Veterans Park Bandstand Parking Lot from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Friday, December 19th. Friday, December 19th, Festival of Lights Parade. Line up at 3:30 p.m. in Stearns High School parking lot. Kickoff at 4 p.m. The route will be across 2nd Street to Penobscot Avenue. Turn left and proceed along Penobscot Avenue, end at Veterans Park Bandstand Park. Second.
Motion made by Councilor Runyon, seconded by Councilor McGowan. Councilor comments? Seeing none, down to the public. Seeing none. All those in favor of order number 255? 7-0. All right, we made it.
Yeah.
Reports and communications, warrant committee for December 11th, 2025 council meeting will be Councilor Pelletier and Councilor Runyon. You both of you okay with that? Good. Perfect. Chair committee reports.
Yes, I do. So we do have an age-friendly meeting December 9th at 2 p.m. at the library and by Zoom. I'll get an agenda to the clerk to be able to post. And I want to just make note, and I have copies for the counselors. We did write up a report to be included in that report, the big report, but I've got an age-friendly report for July 1st, 2024 to June 30th. All the great things that we've been doing, so people that aren't aware
Does this go on our website?
with that.
Do they go on our website?
Yes.
They do, okay. All right. Any other chair committee reports? Seeing none.
Yeah. First.
2-minute public comments. So this is a time where during these 2 minutes, you can address the council. About any topic, we may not have an answer for you right now, but we should be able to answer hopefully by the next meeting. So does anyone have any 2-minute public comments?
Still John Raymond. Lock Maine, President Northern Timber Cruise. I'd like to probably get on the council's agenda for special presentation, the next meeting. I want to bring up how I think we could probably alleviate the ATV access route and make it better so that everybody understands it. I'd like to, come up with, I think I got a plan that will help do that. And if we can get on there for the next meeting, I can be ready for that. So.
Awesome. Yeah, I last meeting we talked and I said that I'd love to have a presentation from you and that still stands. I think it's needed. So
Okay.
absolutely. I'm coordinate with the manager and
Yeah, because during the year, summer and stuff, I get asked by the police, I get asked by a lot of people and just come and hopefully come up with a set of rules that during the year, like sunset to sunrise and not supposed to be any operation and stuff like that. So we gotta get all this stuff together, put it in maybe even an ordinance that was talked about at the time, and then do something with that. So the police, more so for an enforcement deal, so.
wonderful. Thank you so much for all the work you do.
Thank you.
Any other two? Oh, yes, go ahead.
No, just want to mention that
was gonna do it next meeting, but
Okay.
I can do it now. So we as the council made a decision that our next council meeting in December, not the 11th, but the one after that, is on Christmas. None of us want to be here. We want to be home with our family. Not that I don't love you guys. So we are going to cancel the meeting as we've done in the past, and do the warrant process as we've done again in the past. So do you have any comments on that? All right, nothing. Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'd like to be home with my son, or else he'll be very upset. So
And if I made to confirm with John, that meeting is the 12/11, that you want a special presentate. Yes.
That's the date, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, not September 11th. Yeah, December 11th.
Did I say September?
No, he did. Before we adjourn, just some things that I wanted to mention. Previously in my, not this term, but my first term, there was a practice with the council where we came up a list of goals that the council wanted to achieve over the next year. I have already gotten a draft from all of the counselors on those items, and I'm formulating a list. I have met with the manager to discuss the list, and we've narrowed it down to a couple of items that I'm going to send back to the council for a final approval before I bring it to the public, of goals that we can track and manage through the council that actually have something that we as counselors can work on. So that list I'm hoping to have done for the public next council meeting, but more to come on that one. But I wanted to make it clear that we will be going back to that process, and I'll have that list for you guys soon. Other than that, seeking a motion to adjourn.
So, second.
Okay, motion made by Councilor McGuowan, seconded by Councilor Danforth. All those in favor of adjourning? 7-0. Thank you.
Either one, we're gonna have to take a restroom break.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I want to go home.